everybody. It's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. This week I went to see Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, and it's very good. It's not as good as Fury Road, but then that was always going to be hard to top, so, you know, it's still really good. I had two issues with it. The first was that because it's a prequel, a lot of the characters and settings are the same as what we've seen in Fury Road. So there isn't as much, visual inventiveness this time around because we've seen the War Boys and Immortan Joe and everything before. Like Fury Road was like, wow, this is so insane. This is so cool. This is so wild. Oh my God, what is that? Whereas this time around, it's like, well, we've seen this. And then the new characters that are introduced, like the Dementis, played by Chris Hemsworth, and his gang, he's a fine villain, but he's not nearly as visually inventive looking as Immortan Joe. So that was a little disappointing. There wasn't as much new craziness to enjoy. And then the other thing that irked me was the actress playing young Furiosa is very good, but I'm not sure we really needed a full hour of young Furiosa. Because when the time jump happened, I looked at my watch and it was an hour in, and I was like, ooh, because it's like a lot of setup, and once Anya Taylor-Joy takes over, that's when Furiosa has some agency and is actively doing things, and it's much more interesting, and you get to the meat of the story, and everything kind of kicks into high gear. And I just feel like I wish we'd have gotten to that moment a little sooner, and in the movie didn't have to be that long. Because once that kicks in, like, there's an amazing chase sequence, and George Miller clearly still has lots of tricks up his sleeve when doing wild, new, crazy chase sequences. So that's really cool to see. And the action is great, the performances are great, the effects are incredible, and I would like to give George Miller credit for doing something unexpected with the ending. No spoilers. I saw it in IMAX, although I wish I was like one row closer, so it was just a little bit bigger. But watching it, there were a lot of times when I kept thinking, oh, this would have been so cool in 3D. Because he wanted to shoot Fury Road in 3D, but couldn't actually use the 3D cameras in the desert. The conditions were just not conducive. So he shot it and had it post-converted, and it's one of my favorite 3D movies because the 3D is fantastic, because he meant for this to be in amazing 3D. And this one, I sort of got the impression at times that this was also supposed to be in 3D, but Warner Brothers didn't want to bother, which is a shame because I think it would have been really cool in 3D, but what are you going to do? But yeah, if you like the Mad Max movies, here's another really good one. So, enjoy. As for games, I have actually eased up on Disney Dreamlight Valley. Because as you know, the last couple episodes I've been talking about how I've been trying to push through the star path because I want to get all the rewards this time around. And this time I didn't realize how far ahead I was because I finished one of the duties and then I went to see what the next one that popped in was, and nothing popped in, and I went, oh, I'm almost done. I only have 5 left. And I think I had there were 20 or 22 days left in the star path, so I'm like, oof, I'm well ahead of schedule. This is fine. I can ease back a little. I don't have to play this so hard. Though I will say that at the end, there was one finding that you had to find 3 shiny amethysts, and I found 2, but that last one was so elusive, I literally only just did it yesterday. And I was like, thank you, finally. I've been mining up till there's no tomorrow. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, so yay, I finished the star path. So I also, as expected, I finished Little Kitty Big City. I wasn't sure I wanted to because, like I said last episode, I had the fish. I could have tried to go home, but I wanted to try to finish things because normally when I play games, I like to finish all the side things before I finish the main story, because once I finish the main story, I'm basically done with the game, and I'm not going to go back out to do more side stuff, even if the game lets you. But here, I was like, you know what? I did a bunch of the side stuff, and I was like, I'm basically done. There were a few things that I wanted to finish, but I didn't, and I was curious, so I looked online to see, and it turns out that you do play after the end of the story. So I said, well, that's fine then. That's fine. So I did the climb, which was, wow, that was a lot of climbing. That took a time. And then when you get to the end and you get back to your apartment where you live with your human, the crow shows up and is like, hey, congratulations, you made it home. Good for you. But you can come visit us anytime, and there's a bunch of stuff you haven't done yet, so I'm going to mark that on your map. And I'm like, well, that's really helpful. You could have done that earlier in the game, So I'm like, thank you. So I went back down immediately to go get some more of the hats, and I did some other side stuff, and I also found, while getting one of the hats, I saw another building, and I said, oh, there's the other nap spot, and I was able to get the final nap spot, which also got me the final animal to talk to, and I was like, yay! But I'm basically like, okay, I'm done now. There's still one hat left that I need to find, and then there's, of course, a bunch of achievements I haven't yet finished. Like, you have to catch a certain 20 birds, and I've only done 12 or whatever. And then there's also some achievements I haven't even discovered yet. I don't know what they are, so I don't know what to do to get them. But I basically decided I'm good, and I'm going to, because I feel like this is the kind of game where, and I don't know, we'll see if this is true or not. I don't know, but I'm thinking this is the kind of game where it's on my Switch hard drive, so I can go back to it at any time. So if I'm on a trip or something and I've played Animal Crossing and I'm done and I'm just like, what else can I play? And I look on my Switch and I say, oh, let me do some Little Kitty Big City. And I'll just run around and I'll trip some people and I'll swat things off shelves and do whatever and mischief and maybe find some new achievements and get some stuff while I'm there. We'll see if that's what actually happens. Although there were two sections of the map in the upper right and the upper left, or the upper right and the lower right corner, that you just can't even get to, and it's all blocked off. And I'm like, what is this? And before I finished the game, I was like, I need to get in there and do stuff before I finish the game. But in looking around online, people on message boards, they're like, yeah, there's no way in. And people think that it might be for DLC at some point. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it does seem weird that there's chunks missing from the map like that. I mean, there's obviously a map under there, and they're just, you have to unfog it. But I don't know if they're planning on adding new things to do in the corners, but that would certainly get me back into the game again. But I decided that I was going to be done with that, and I would just play it whenever, because I wanted to play something else. And while I initially thought that I would be going back to Immortals of Aveum, the problem with Immortals of Aveum is that it's just not grabbing me. I enjoy it while I'm playing it and shooting things, and I'm like, this is fine, but I'm not into the story, and because it's just a first-person shooter, I'm not into the exploration, because there's not it's not an open world exploration kind of thing. So I'm sort of it's fine. It's not a terrible game, but it's not grabbing me where I can't wait to play it again. I haven't played it in weeks. And I noticed that Star Wars Jedi Survivor was on sale for $30. And I thought, ooh, because that's less than half off, because it's a $70 game. So I was like, that's a good price. I waited for the first one to go sub 20, but that was because I was nervous about the roguelike aspect of it, but it was fine. So this one, I'm like, it's fine. I don't need to wait for it to go to 20. I can pay 30. It's fine. I don't mind. When I saw this, I did notice there was one more day left in the current PlayStation Store sale. So I said, fine, I will wait a day and see if they put it on sale there. Because if I could just download it, that's great, because then I get Sony rewards points, but then I also get it quickly. And then it's there and I don't have to worry about swapping discs and stuff. But unfortunately, when the next sale started, only the deluxe version of the game was on sale. And that was marked down from whatever, like $80, $90. It was marked down to like 44, 45. But I was like, I'm not, I'd rather pay 30 for the base game. I'm not paying an extra $15 just for some cosmetics and stuff. I'm like, that's not really worth it. So I went ahead and I bought it from Amazon because I was like, I don't feel like going to Best Buy to pick it up, and I'm not paying for Best Buy shipping. I'll just order it from Amazon because they're price matching for $30, and then it'll just show up in my mailbox the next day. Easy peasy. So I have only just started the game. It is, so I can't really say. I mean, it's more Star Wars from EA. It's the same developer stuff, so it's more of the same game that I enjoyed the first time around. I will say that initially, the first scene when you see Cal, he's a prisoner, and I thought, oh great, well this is typical. Like, you'll be a prisoner and you'll have to, like, the tutorial level will be fighting your way out of the prison, and at the end you'll get your lightsaber back, and then you'll, like, you know, that sort of thing. But as the scene went on, I was like, this doesn't feel right to me. And I was like, this feels like one of those Star Wars tropes of, like, pretending to be a prisoner to get into some place. Spoiler alert, it was. I mean, I'm not too concerned about spoiling the opening scene of a game that's over a year old, so sorry. But I was very impressed that, like, while, you know, because the problem with sequels is that you spend the first game, like, learning all these new skills and becoming super powerful, and then the sequel, you can't start here, because where do you go from there? You know, you can't become twice as much super powerful. That's insane. So they have to pull you back. But instead of pulling you all the way back, they just pulled you, you know, this much back. So you had your you have your lightsaber, and you have lightsaber skills, and you have your force powers, and you have your, you know, so it does make you feel like the same character that you ended the first game with, just minus all the really cool special attack skills that you had and the extra health and that sort of thing. So I thought that was a nice compromise. I will say the first few fights were clearly, like, super easy so that you could, like, get the hang of things. Because as it went on and I'm playing through this mission, things got a little more difficult. And at one point I did actually die, which was super annoying. A stupid stormtrooper killed me because basically I forgot about the Imperial probe droids that blew up. That's really annoying. So that was irritating. But then the boss fight was not too bad, although I was like a sliver of health. I just barely got through it. So I'm struggling a little getting back into the combat, but I have hope that that will happen because I did not have too much of a problem with the first game, except for a couple of the bosses, as I recall. So I'm enjoying it so far. I literally just started, haven't even finished the first mission yet. I will say it's also lovely to play a game with a real photo mode again, you know, where I can adjust the camera and the settings and the lighting and everything and take pretty pictures of the beautiful Cal Kestis. So that's just nice to have a proper photo mode again. So I'm enjoying that. So it's going to take me a while. That's why I haven't finished the first mission, because I keep stopping to take pictures. So sorry. So come back next episode and I'll have some more Star Wars to talk about and maybe some other stuff. I don't know. Find out then. Bye!